What is going on, YouTube? I'm Lamont at large. Today I am in Barrowsville, Rhode Island. We're right on the border with Massachusetts, and I'm gonna go visit the graves of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. But before we do that, I'm gonna show you really quick one of the paranormal investigations that really made them famous, of course, and that is the location of where the Conjuring movie is based upon. It was a old haunted farmhouse. It's about a mile down the road. The cemetery that I'm currently at right now, maybe nobody of note that is buried here having to do with the story. However, I simply pulled over to the side of the road because this area right here, there's really nowhere off of the road to park. So this was the only area that I could park. So really quick, let me just give you guys a quick rundown on what the Conjuring is. And we'll head to that house, and then I'll make a 2.5 hour drive going west to the final resting place of the Warrens. What I make up for in my rudimentary editing skills, my lack of a snazzy intro, and overdone effects and scary music to bring about some kind of a feeling as you watch the video, I simply take you to the location of where the subject that I'm speaking about occurred. So I'm walking down this road right now, and I'm gonna walk towards the Conjuring house. If you are a fan of horror movies, then you definitely know the movies based upon quote unquote the real events that happened at this house that I'm gonna show you. Now, I believe there's been at least a couple Conjuring movies. There might have been a third. I don't really get into these kinds of videos when it comes to scary locations because it's just not that kind of channel, unless it's relative to an interesting story about a grave, and this story is pretty interesting. So if you want to start in 1971, the Perrin family with their 5 daughters moved into this house here in Harrisville. And as soon as they moved in, according to them anyways, they noticed some weird things happening. The little girls would say that they were hearing whispers. Their chair would move. If there was a pot on the stove, it sounded like somebody was kind of moving it over the stove. Brooms and rakes, stuff would just kind of go missing. Places where normally the family would keep something, it would be moved somewhere else. The mother, if she would clean the kitchen floor, she would notice like a small pile of dirt in the middle of it. She would clean it up, and later on, she's seen the dirt again. Maybe at first she thought it was her daughters playing jokes on her, but later on, as the years went by, the spirits got a little bit more mean, if you will. Now, according to the story, not all of the spirits were mean, but however, a few of them were. And you had I guess you can call the main spirit of the movie was that of a woman that actually did live in the home in the mid 1850s. Her name was Bathsheba Sherman. I guess you can say that maybe her neighbors thought she was an odd woman. As you know, as the history says, who knows? But she was accused of being a Satanist and a witch. According to her neighbors, there was a child that lived not too far down the road from her that died under mysterious circumstances. Now, of course, back then, it could have been anything. It could have been diphtheria. It could have been, a lot of things. And a lot of people had blamed her for the child's death. However, no trial was to be had upon her for whatever reason, simply for the fact that there was no proof that the woman had anything to do with that little girl's death. And as the hauntings and the spirits began to be more mean, started hearing evil voices, the family had looked up the history of the house, and come to find out, the house was originally constructed in the 1730s during the Revolutionary War. And as they researched the house, they noticed amongst a lot of things that several children had drowned supposedly in a creek that was not very far. It could have been behind the home. There was a couple hangings in the attic. A lot of weird stuff occurred in this house. So they contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were pretty famous paranormal investigators. I believe Ed used to be a police officer or a detective, and he called himself a quote-unquote demonologist. And Lorraine, she never said that she was a full-on psychic, but she said that she had some kind of powers where she was a medium, and she had powers of clairvoyance, and she was able to talk to the spirits that haunted these locations. And of course, they investigated the Conjuring house. They also investigated, amongst other houses, the Amityville horror house, which I've been to and vlogged before. Now, according to online, the parents lived in this house for almost 9 years. Now, me personally, if I move into a house and I'm seeing weird things, spirits are talking to me, my bed's levitating, my chair is moving across the room, I'm hearing screams at night, my daughters are scared, I'm probably gonna move. I'm gonna scrap the house and I'm gonna move. And then eventually they left, I believe, in 1980. So they were in that house almost 10 years. Now, this is the creek where possibly the children drowned in, which is not very far from where we're about to get to right now. So a little bit about the Conjuring house. I believe a couple bought the house a few years ago, and now they offer tours of the house. If you want to spend the night there, if you dare, if you are brave enough to spend the night in the Conjuring house, it could be easily done. It's only $125, and that's really pretty cheap. I don't know what the accommodations inside look like. I don't know if it's like a hostel style environment or what have you, but $125, that's a pretty good price. And however, if you want to go online and book your stay, well, you're gonna have to have a lot of patience, because they are booked through the end of 2022. So if you are in the area and you want to see the Conjuring house, your best bet is to do one of two things. Either you drive by it, park at the cemetery down the road over there, right past that "Welcome to Massachusetts" sign, and then walk on this road that has no sidewalk for 0.8 of a mile, or just simply sit back in the comfort of your own home and watch my videos and let me do all the legwork, the driving, the footwork, what have you. The couple that owns the home, whose name escapes me right now, they do claim that the house is in fact haunted. Now, I'm not sure if they live there or not. I waved my hands excessively to a postal worker, a postman, and it would be better if I got on the other side of the road to be a little bit safer. And he says that the couple lives there. I find that hard to believe. How could you live in a place, unless they live in a separate building, and you're having a bunch of strangers from the internet, from all over the planet, coming by, staying in your home? I don't know how that works. It could be a bed and breakfast. That I'm not sure. And he told me that there's a bunch of cameras, there's a bunch of signs saying private property. And you got loons like me who are bored and like to come around and see stuff and see the location. So I don't know how close I'm gonna be able to get to it. I'm not trying to have a shotgun pulled out on my face. However, I will give you a good shot of the house. So I think we're going to be approaching it right about here. This is the Conjuring property, 1677 Round Top Road, Harrisville, Rhode Island. And it looks like, yes, somebody does in fact live there. It looks lived in anyways, and as you can see, there's plenty of signs. Private property with a imposing gate that I could simply walk over the chain link fence, but however, you can see the cameras equipped here. No trespassing. You would think this house, be it that it's so popular, that it would be it would have some kind of fortified fence. However, yeah, I can see somebody does live there because there is a car parked right there. You got more cameras right there. 24 hours a day. This is the Conjuring house. Do not come here. So yeah, the family, the people that own the house, they do live there. And I'm assuming they either rent rooms in their home or you stay in that barn right there. Or maybe you bring your RV. I don't know if they have hookups or what have you. Car coming. Gotta hurry up. I don't know. You tell me, guys. You tell me, like, what do you believe? Do you believe that this is a really haunted place? If it's so haunted, why do you live there? I don't know. Maybe they don't live there. Maybe the car is there as a, you know, like to make it seem like people live there. But I do see a barbecue grill right there. And mailman, he had a trusting face. He had the face of somebody that I can basically believe what he says when he says that somebody lives there. So anyways, this is the property. And we're going to turn around. I'm going to hike back 7/10 of a mile down the road. We're going to go back to my van and we're going to go visit the final resting place of the Warrens, famed paranormal investigators. They're about 2.5 hours west of here. So come on, guys, let's hit the road. I think we're going to go back to the 8/10 of a mile. This feels like 8/10 of a mile. Before, however, we go visit the Warrens, there's another grave not too far from here that has relevance to the story. So we're gonna go visit her very quickly. And here we are at the Harrisville Cemetery in Burrsville, Rhode Island. And this is the grave of Bathsheba Sherman. Unfortunately, her grave stone, at least, has been removed because of repeated vandalism. So people, of course, have left rocks and little trinkets. It was destroyed over the last few years, and they just finally removed it because they said it probably couldn't be repaired anymore if it gets destroyed one more time. It was broken at least into 3 or 4 different pieces. Bathsheba is buried next to Judson Sherman. This would be her husband. And he's buried next to his first wife, Georgiana. She died in 1875 at the age of 22. And then Bathsheba, looks like online that is Judson's second wife. And her son right here is Herbert Sherman. And looking back over there, I believe those are Bathsheba's parents, Ephraim and Rhoda Thayer. Of course, it's very difficult to read the stones because it's practically gone, but it looks like that is their graves. Somebody took a picture online on the Find a Grave, and you can kind of see their names, but since then it has faded away even more, and these are the only stones in the whole cemetery that look like that. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna guess. Okay, so let's continue on to our final destination. Of the nearly 10,000 paranormal investigations that the Warrens claim to have been a part of, one of their more interesting short stories involves a Raggedy Ann doll that two roommates claimed that was possessed by a ghost or a demon named Annabelle Higgins. I was really looking forward to going to the museum because of all the items that the Warrens have collected throughout their many years of doing these paranormal investigations. That doll, I was very interested in showing you guys. Unfortunately, after Lorraine passed, the museum closed down. I believe the museum closed down even before that. And with, talking about ghosts and the unknown, UFOs, and so forth and so on, you're going to get many naysayers who outright deny the claims that the Warrens have said in terms of what they've done, being able to communicate with spirits, both good and bad. Many people, I guess you could call them debunkers, who their sole mission in life is just to debunk psychics and what have you. Many of them pretty much say that, the Warrens were nice people. They're not going to take that away from them, but they just feel that the proof that the Warrens had in terms of the items that they held at their occult museum, which was behind the house that Lorraine and Ed lived in, just didn't convince them anything other than maybe the pair, at least bare minimum, are overdoing it on everything they've done, and at the other side of the spectrum, just outright frauds. I guess you'll be the judge at the end of the day. However you might think, whatever your opinion might be, an interesting, fascinating story to say the least, and part of the aspect of my channel is vlogging these places of rest for people that have passed, both good and both bad, especially with an interesting story. And this is the final resting place of Edward and Lorraine Warren. And as you can see right there, Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who roam throughout the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. And then, of course, right there is the New England Society for Psychic Research. It is the largest, I guess you could call them, ghost hunting group in the New England area. Buried along with them as well is their grandson. This is Corey Michael Dillinger. He died when he was 20 years old in a car accident. He was the only occupant in the car. So anyways, tell me what you guys think. Is it true? Is it false? Were they frauds? Were they not frauds? I'm curious to read what you guys have to say in the comments below. I'm not really sure what to think because I haven't ever talked to them. I do believe in people that have psychic powers, and I also do believe that a lot of people that don't have psychic powers, especially the ones that are famous, going around just telling people what they want to hear. But me personally, I have had a sit down with a psychic who, once I talk to her, maybe one day on a video, I'll do a video on a story about why I believe in psychics. But I met one in Linwood, Washington about 12 years ago, and without a shadow of a doubt, she convinced me that psychics are real. Be it that their power either comes from a divine source or a not divine source, that remains to be seen. But rest in peace to both Edward and Lorraine Warren, and rest in peace to Corey Michael Dillinger, the grandson. Okay, guys, Lamont at Large, I'm signing out. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. And on to the next cemetery, on to the next unsolved murder, the celebrity grave, wherever. Guys, don't forget also, very, very important, wherever you're at on social media, please share my videos. I don't have t-shirts, I don't have mugs, I don't have hats. I'm not for sale. But you help me immensely, not by me printing my name and likeness on a sweatshirt and selling it to you for $40. No, you help me by far and large when you share my videos on social media, especially my unsolved murder videos. Those are the videos that I have the greatest interest in most, and those videos are very important to me, and very, very important that you share them. I believe that one day, one of those videos that I might do, maybe it'll jog somebody's memory, maybe they'll come forward. So please, if anything, if any video you have on my channel that you share, please, at least I ask you to share those, and only those. I only ask you to share the unsolved murders. If you want to share another video, go on ahead, but please, that's very important to me. And I want to say before I end the video, I did have a good time doing this video. It was very informative. I normally don't do these kinds of videos, but as long as there's a grave involved in it, regardless of the fact that if I believe the story or not, I think it's an interesting and fascinating story, to say the least. And I do plan on doing missing persons videos. I know a couple people have asked me, like, you know, how come you don't do missing person cases? So I will start doing some. And guys, don't forget Fascinating Graveyard. That's my second channel. The link will be in the description box below. Thank you guys for watching my video. I always appreciate it. I'll catch up with you later. I promise this is the end of the video. That's all for now. Peace out.